It's not like you're going to bring AI into your company and all of a sudden you're going to be some superhuman organization. It's nothing magical. You got to take very simple, precise steps and tasks and stay after it. And I don't know that it'll ever end because challenges keep coming up and the technology is going to continue to advance. What Channel has done for us is create a center portion that takes what we know AI can do and what we know we need to do on the business and give us a way to blend the two of them together.
Hello, ChowPod listeners and viewers. Welcome to another episode of ChowPod here at Channel Automation. We are joined here today by the founder and the CEO of Smart Cremation and Vinnie Faccinto. Did I pronounce your name correctly, Vinnie? Your last
Yeah,
name
you
is
did.
Italian,
You
right?
did, Beth. But let me just back up and not take credit where it's not due. I'm the Senior Vice President of Operations, Business Development for Smart. Mark Hamilton is our founder, also the CEO of our parent company, North Star Memorial Group. And I pride myself as his main directional force in the strategic advancement and daily operations of Smart Cremation. So,
All right, perfect. And so Vinny, can you tell us a little bit about what Smart Cremation does and what your role is in the company?
absolutely. So, Smart Cremation currently operates in 7 states. We are a cremation service organization. What makes us unique is we operate under a virtual model. And what that means is that we work with families who have had a loss, have chosen cremation, and they do not want to be operating their daily wishes as far as the end of life decisions that are being made with someone that's in a physical building. So our company works very hardly to provide those services out of the comfort of their own home. So we will go to their home, we pick their loved one up, we transport them to our care facility where the cremation process is able to take place, and we return their loved one's remains back to their home by hand. So it provides a full service opportunity to have a cremation service without having to go into a facility and deal with what you would call a traditional funeral home.
I see. Okay. And how long have you been doing this for Smart Cremation, Vinny?
I've been with Smart for 13 years now. I've been in Deathcare uh, since I was 16 years old, which this year will be 40 years. So with a little easy math, you'll be able to tell how old I am, Vic. No need to tell me how good I look for my age. I'm good with that.
Yeah,
So
you do.
been in Deathcare. I'm a licensed funeral director, licensed embalmer. I've worked for Service Corporation International, which is the largest publicly traded company in death care in the space. I've also owned and operated my own funeral homes and crematories, and had the opportunity to join Smart 13 years ago and really help them transition from a startup company. They had only been around for about 3 or 4 years when I joined, to the unique operating model that we have today. I will piggyback and say, although cremation services are the core of what we do and the care that we provide to our families is the product that we sell, a large portion of our business happens under the pre-need selling model. What that means is that we have several hundred pre-need planners that go out regularly every week, usually in lunch and learn seminar environments, and they get together with families and they discuss with them their what cremation is all about, what makes Smart different, shares our price points and models that compete with different competitors, and families will make decisions to pre-plan with us ahead of time. Once that happens, that person becomes a customer of ours. They oftentimes have to make monthly payments. They'll move and they need new ID cards. We have to get merchandise delivered to them. And it becomes a little bit more complex than what you would think about, because you're dealing with those families oftentimes for many years. And then ultimately, when one of them passes away and they call us for services, we have to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and consistently ready to serve that family at the highest level. We can't have service slip because it happens to be a holiday or it happens to be late at night. We don't get the ability to operate under business hours. We have to truly be ready to provide quality 100% service at every point of contact, no matter when it is. So there's a lot of pressure in that. Unlike a lot of industries, if you're at Best Buy and you buy a new TV and you bring it home and you unbox it and you plug it in, it doesn't work. You're able to box it up and take it back, and maybe Best Buy has an opportunity to serve you well, give you a new TV, do whatever you want to do. But when you're dealing with the most difficult day of someone's life and losing someone that's ultimately close to them, we only really get one shot. There's no opportunity to return and make it right. So we push our team very, very hard. Anything less than 100% satisfaction is not acceptable because there's no returns when you're dealing with people's loved ones.
That is certainly a fact of life, and it is definitely one of those things that you really can't take any shortcuts. You have to be extremely on point with what you do. Vinny, like you've been in the space for 40 years. You've been with Smart Cremation for, you said, I think 13 years. What does your company and how you operate, how does that make it a competitive advantage for our listeners out there, and so that they can also understand like how to choose the providers? Like, what's your competitive advantage? What makes you special or different than everybody else who's providing the service?
Well, cremation process in and of itself is really somewhat of a commodity, and it really is. It's there's not that much difference between what happens when an individual is cremated, whether it's through a traditional funeral home, a direct cremation service, a discount provider, or a company like ours. That particular portion of it is a commodity. It's what leads up to it and what follows it that makes it different. We really work hard to make the most difficult day of someone's life as easy as possible. And we really emphasize that. And then, secondly, we make a big emphasis on our ability to do things right the first time without any mistakes, because we hold that service level to a very, very high standard. Because of the fact that we work virtually, where we don't have a building or a facility for somebody to come in, a lot of your end of life arrangements are taking place in your local market, Vic. It would be somebody that's within 10 or 15 miles of where you physically live. You might drive by it every day. And then when one of your loved ones passes away and that facility is handling it, it's a short drive into their building. You can see the people. For Smart, when we work in a virtual model, the only thing that we have that provides trust to our families is our ability to answer our phones and our email and handle them with the highest level of proficiency. So we can't rely on the fact that if the phone's busy, that they can just get in the car and come drive into our facility. We have to be ready 100% of the time to be ready to go. Not much different than the way that a fire department is sitting in your local area ready to get that 911 call and get out there and put out the fire as quick as they can. So we work very hard, and that it makes us somewhat unique because we have to focus on our back office and front office services constantly and continuously to make sure that we have that product. What we are proud about is if you happen to go and check out online reviews for Smart Cremation, we're a very, very highly rated company. We handle thousands of families every year. We maintain a 5-star rating. If we do get a problem, we get on it real quick, make sure it's fixed. It puts us in a situation where we really get to take service to another level, and that's something that we're really proud of.
That's you mentioned something about the purchases are made, and it could take years, right, for this to happen, for this really life-changing event. So during that period of time, how do you guys manage the accounts, and what do the consumers expect during this period of time? Let's say it takes a couple of years to do that. Like you make a purchase a few years back, like how do they remember the phone number, or how do they know like what the next steps are? They might have forgotten from the time of purchase.
Yeah, it's a great question. I'll answer it in two parts. Number one is each state that we operate in, we're a licensed funeral establishment. We're regulated under the Funeral Board, which includes federal guidelines. The Federal Trade Commission regulates the way we do our pricing and the way that we present to families, make sure that's clear and understandable. We also take a portion of everything that's sold and we place it in a state approved trust fund. And that money is placed there and it's held in security. So, in the event that our company or any company struggled financially at any point in time, those pre-need funds that were paid for are there and managed and regulated by the state. And those funds are available to be withdrawn to make sure that the portion of the services that have not been provided, the funds are there to take care of that. So that's the first part. The second part to your question is our families receive identification cards that we ask them to keep in their pocket, in their wallet, on how to identify us at the time of need. That's usually kept on their person. In the event you go into a hospital or hospice care or if any of those type of things, one of the questions that they asked is, in the event of an unfortunate demise, what funeral home do you want contacted? And they would list our name and our phone number on there. Of course, in today's day and age, you can do a quick Google search and say, what's the 800 number for Smart Cremation? We utilize one phone number for everywhere that we operate in the entire country. Makes it very easy for them to find us and reach us when the time comes that it needs to have any type of service, whether it be customer service or whether it be reporting the passing of a loved one.
You mentioned today's day and age, like what do you guys use in terms of like how has the experience of, I know AI is a big buzzword, automation. How have you guys used that in just the last year, for example, to enhance your services for the consumer as your business grows?
Well, as you were hearing me kind of lead up with your early questions, Vic, customer service is the number one most important thing for us. We just don't have a margin to make a mistake. But when we're dealing in the human world, even on with your best person on their best day, there's still opportunities for human error. So as we begin to be introduced to the AI world, we find very quickly that there's things that we can do that make us a lot faster and a lot better, both personally and on the business side. One of the things that was attractive to me when people ask me, why'd you choose channel automation, is because what channel has done for us is create a center portion that takes what we know AI can do and what we know we need to do on the business and give us a way to blend the two of them together. I've often, Vic, used examples when I was telling people about your company. It reminds me, because of my age, when I went from TSR 80 computers where I used to have to type out these little codes to make a little ball go beep, beep, beep. And then we had word processors and we had different things. But one of the things that Microsoft did that was so unique is they didn't invent the software, but what they did is figured out a way where the common person could click on Word and be able to type it out and use the document. And I tell a lot of people what channel automation has done for us is kind of create something that we can click on and solve a business solution with all the power of AI, with the complexity of the business system, and give us a way that we can line it up and make it effective for our company. It's been working tremendously well over the last, I guess, 6 or 8 months through our implementation. We've been able to streamline a lot of projects, some of them small, some of them more complex. But as we continue to work together and continue to develop it, we're finding, complex business problems and complex AI strategies. Channel automation has given us the center point to blend those two together in today's modern environment. And it's beginning to give our company a real competitive edge.
That's really good to hear. With a lot of businesses out there that are similar to yours or competing with yours, and maybe there's there's this young operator, there's this new person who's just opened their business and they want to get into the business into the death industry, right? Or the death services industry. Like, what would be your one advice for them so that they could do better in 2026 and 2027?
That's a pretty general question. So the dev industry, we have large corporations that have complex structures. And then you also have guys that are a funeral director, opens up his own funeral home. And like I did many years ago, where I was the one going out at night to pick up the body from the residence. I was the first one to greet the family. I had to embalm the body to get it prepared, provide dressing, casketing services, as well as the one filling out all the information for the death certificates and filing them with the state and all of the back office services that have to go through there. So sometimes you have a circumstance where I think what AI is going to be able to do is give opportunities for people to sit down in different areas of their business, collect the information one time, and then have AI and channel automation opportunities to be able to fill out all of the necessary forms and paperwork and different things that have to be done and filed, and really help them do that with a speed and an accuracy that eliminates the ability to have to maybe have a large staff or be overwhelmed themselves. Everything from writing obituary notices to filling out the paperwork that needs to go to the doctors and to the different areas. There's so many different little steps that have to go through that usually a funeral home operation relies on a large staff to do that. We've also had the ability to help with AI phone answering services. Normally in our industry, when you can't answer the phone yourself 24 hours a day, you have to roll those phones over to an answering service, much like a doctor would or a dentist would or someone of that nature. And to be able to do that in an effective, cost-effective opportunity, as well as that AI service, knowing when they need to get a live person on and when they don't, and provide a consistent level of service. So I think as time moves on, our industry, just like everyone's going to find ways. I think a lot of people now, Vic, even, people, my age that are not tremendously technology advanced are having a lot of personal success with Chat GPT and OpenAI and, Grok and a lot of these other things. And we find that it really gives us a lot of really cool information that we like. And it's like, well, how do I use this in my business? Or how do I use this even as simple as moving it to Facebook so I can make a post about it? And we struggle because the technology's in all these different buckets, but there's not a simple way outside of what we found with channel automation to say, hey, Vid, I've got OpenAI telling me this, and I've got my business system telling me this, and I need to put it into this system. And Vic says, that's easy, and helps us put that to where we can actually use it. And that's what you do so well, Vic. And that's what anybody using your company. I'm definitely not the one to talk about who's the best, most modern technology AI, but it doesn't matter how modern it is. It doesn't matter how great it is. If you can't apply it to what you're doing, either personally or in your business, it's worthless. And to be able to do that for a business that says, hey, I know AI is cool. I've seen it, I've used it myself, but I just have no idea how to run it in my business. Channel automation is the company that's out there that can say, yeah, it is really cool. And let me show you how you can apply it to your business. And it's just a simple stair step, one task at a time. It's nothing magical. It's not like you're going to bring AI into your company and all of a sudden you're going to be, some superhuman organization. You got to take very simple, precise steps and tasks and stay after it. And I don't know that it'll ever end because challenges keep coming up and the technology is going to continue to advance. And you just need a good partner that understands not only your business, but understands what's going on in the AI world and be able to link that together. Vic, I'll comment to you because as I was looking for companies to do this for me, I didn't find a lot of them out there that even had close the ability to do what channel automation does when it comes to actually applying something to your business and getting a measurable success.
Well, that's really, yeah, I really appreciate that, Vinny. And a team here in Channel Automation loves working with your team. One of the things that we've noticed is that you have a very special way for your teams, and everybody's so focused in terms of how they do things. And each one completes a task or project or focuses on it. We're really very surprised. As you said, this industry is not, but your industry is really one of those industries now that we want to focus on, is because people there are so appreciative of the automation and embrace the technology and the use of AI. How do you find those people? Like, how do you get them to embrace the technology and really go and say, okay, I want the technology to do this way? Like, how have you done that? The listeners out there might want to be interested in how you manage your teams to make them successful in the use of automation and AI.
Well, that's a good question, and that's not a Deathcare question by any means. I don't know that my team's reflected of our industry as a whole. First and foremost, I'll say that team building and managing people and executing are something that's been an interest of mine throughout my career. It's something that we've pride ourselves on, and with a wide variety of different personal businesses as well, inside and outside of the death care industry. And there's a lot of very interesting leadership strategies that are out there. But um, about 12 years ago, actually, a high school friend of mine, his name is Jocko Willing, who left high school, became a Navy SEAL, and actually
Yeah.
we reconnected in 2009 at our, what would it have been, 20th maybe high school reunion. And it turns out we had martial arts background in common, and had some interesting discussions. I'm a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, been training for about 20 years. Jocko had a gym, Victory MMA, out in California, where he trained with Dean Lister, and they had a lot of UFC fighters and stuff, which is very similar to what I was doing out here in Tennessee, which is how I met our good friend Paul Burleson, was in the MMA world, right? So Jocko and I sort of reconnected, and at that point in time, I had just recently taken my role with Smart, and started traveling out to the West Coast quite a bit because we have a large presence out there. And Jocko and I would hang out a little bit at his gym, train a little bit together. And it happened to be right at the time where they were about to release the book that him and Leif Babin wrote, called Extreme Ownership. And Jocko got me set up for a pre-order of that book, and it came in. And Smart was at a crossroads at that time. We had been a new company when I joined. They were struggling to create an identity and financial relevance. And we worked through a lot of the traditional things. And after reading Extreme Ownership with my sales partner, Sam Upton, we read through it and independently and came back together. And I said, Sam, what was your thinking? And he said, Vinnie, we suck. And I said, you're right, we do. It's because if the company's not working and it's not being successful, there's a saying in there, there's no bad teams, there's only bad leaders. We really honed in on that. And, it wasn't like Extreme Ownership had a lot of new things, but the accountability portion was different. We really emphasize that on our company. We've had Jocko in 3 times every year for 12 years. We bring them together, and we study Extreme Ownership as a company. It's become our culture. It's become our way of operating. We don't accept excuses. There's always reasons that things don't work, but we don't accept excuses. And when there's a reason something doesn't work, we come together collaboratively, and the goal is to solve those problems and make it work. So when we embark on an initiative like AI, we're not the type that's going to dip our toe in the water and we're going to have 1 or 2 smart people working it up and trying to make something work and then push it all the way down to the field level. Because what ends up happening in that is the people in the field get resistance. They blame it on the fact that people designing the AI don't know what they're doing. And the people designing the AI said, if the people would just do what we said, and you end up getting clashes. And ultimately, your projects get stalled out. And that's not just AI, that's any project. Our extreme ownership culture teaches us that we build from the bottom up. Everybody's involved in everything. So when we decided we were going to do AI, I think what you referred to, Vic, is we broke our team up into strike teams. We identified 5 different areas where AI had the opportunity to succeed. We put a 90-day timeline on them and said we want 1 problem for every strike team that's identified, and Those strike teams are going to solve that problem, works with Vic's team, and we're going to have something measurable and operational within 90 days. And that's how we took off, and that's how we did it. Some of them were, bigger projects. Some of them were smaller, but everybody had success within 90 days of that. After that, you have the confidence, you start seeing, you develop workflow, and now it's just a matter of consolidating it a little bit, taking those projects. But everybody in our company is proud to say we use AI in our daily processes, and just getting that mindset right where it's not scary. Nobody's going to lose their job. It's just a matter of making us more efficient, better operators, better service to our families, and ultimately giving us the ability to scale down the future and do more with less. And that's the platform that we're really looking to create, Vic, is we're looking to continue to scale and grow in these core group of people that can rally around these opportunities and get them down and get the understanding are going to give us the platform for the next 8 to 10 years worth of growth. So we're excited about that. And that's our philosophy in a nutshell. So
We're very excited for your growth. I mean, there's still a lot to unpack here, but we would definitely would want to hear again from you. Vinny, this thing with Jocko, he's very popular. I didn't know that you guys were from the same high school. That's really cool to know that you guys grew up together and you've been doing that. I'm sure a lot of people are going to listen to this and think, okay, like they're usually pushing all the responsibilities to their team members, but that's a complete opposite. It's about the leadership, and you've built an excellent team. We're looking forward to more success with you guys. For those people in the audiences, Vinny is not only a successful leader, but somebody who has applied this with his teams. You can find him and his company online. Take a look at it. Smart Cremation, an up and coming company that's really going to be the darling of this industry. I feel that a lot. I know that's going to happen. Thanks so much, Vinny, for joining us. That's it for today. If you like what you've heard here, please like, subscribe, and reach out to us if you guys want to go and hear a little bit more or reach out to Vinny. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you in the next podcast. Bye.
thanks, guys. Appreciate you.